Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there? Or struggled to remember the name of an actor from your favorite old movie, just to have it pop up in your head an hour later? Most people chalk these moments up to just getting older. But what if these tiny slips are actually whispers from your brain, gentle but urgent signals that something deeper might be happening beneath the surface? Hi and welcome to Seniors Vitality Hub, where we bring you life-changing, science-backed information to help you live stronger, sharper, and longer. Today's video is not just another health talk. It's a wake-up call for anyone over 55, especially those living in busy, fast-paced places across the U.S., where juggling medications, missing checkups, and the daily stress of caregiving or financial worries can quietly erode our cognitive health. In this video, I'll reveal 5 lesser-known, yet medically significant signs that your brain may be aging faster than you realize. These signs are often dismissed or overlooked even by loved ones. But recognizing them early could make all the difference between catching a reversible condition and living with long-term brain fog, or worse, undiagnosed early dementia. These signs don't scream, they whisper. But today, we're going to decode those whispers together. I'll also share how simple lifestyle tweaks can restore clarity, stories from real seniors in the U.S. who turned their brain health around, and what medical research is now saying about these warning signs. So grab a cup of tea, turn off the distractions, and stay with me until the end, because the 5th sign may just be the one saving your future self. Thank you for choosing to spend time with me today. If you find this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on real, doctor-backed wellness content that could change or even save your life. Ready? Let's get into the first hidden sign of early brain decline you shouldn't ignore. One of the first and most overlooked signs of early brain decline isn't forgetfulness. It's a change in how you feel, or more specifically, how you react emotionally. You might find yourself feeling numb or emotionally flat during events that used to excite you, becoming more irritable or anxious than usual, crying unexpectedly over small things, or, on the other hand, not reacting at all to sad news. According to Dr. Lisa Mosconi, director of the Women's Brain Initiative at Weill Cornell Medicine, emotional processing is deeply tied to brain function, especially in the frontal lobe and limbic system, which are often the first regions affected in early cognitive decline. When these areas begin to struggle, your mood and behavior may shift before your memory does. Take, for example, Helen, a 67-year-old retired schoolteacher from Michigan. Her daughter noticed that Helen no longer laughed during their weekly game nights. She used to be the life of the room, telling stories and cracking jokes. But lately, she just sat quietly even when her grandkids tried to engage her. At first, her family thought she was simply tired or depressed. But when they spoke to her primary care doctor and later a neurologist, they found early signs of mild cognitive impairment, MCI, a condition that sits right between normal aging and dementia. Here's the science in simple terms. Your brain's emotional regulation depends on healthy communication between neurons, especially in the prefrontal cortex. As these pathways weaken due to aging, inflammation, or silent mini-strokes, your emotional filter becomes less stable. Things that should trigger joy, concern, or empathy no longer hit with the same impact. So what should you do? If you or someone you love shows noticeable emotional changes that seem off or unlike them, don't ignore it. These emotional cues are often your brain's early alarm system. Get a checkup, ask your doctor about a cognitive screening, and take emotional shifts seriously because early detection can make a world of difference. Ready to discover the second hidden sign? Let's move on. We've all had moments when we can't recall the name of something. But if you're frequently struggling to find the right word, pausing mid-sentence, or replacing specific words with vague ones like thing or that place, it could be more than just a senior moment. This issue is called anomic aphasia, and it's often one of the early signs of brain slowdown, especially in areas responsible for language and memory. According to the National Institute on Aging, while occasional tip-of-the-tongue moments are normal, a pattern of frequent word-finding difficulty, especially when it interferes with conversations, should raise concern. Let's look at John, a 72-year-old retired postal worker from Ohio. John's friends noticed he was avoiding group conversations. During a recent veterans meeting, he tried to talk about his favorite baseball team, but stumbled repeatedly. I watched, that team with the blue uniforms. They played against, what's their name again? What made this different from ordinary forgetfulness was the frequency and frustration he expressed. Eventually, John was evaluated and diagnosed with early-stage cognitive decline, affecting the temporal lobe, the brain's language processing center. What's happening in the brain? Language production depends heavily on the left temporal lobe and Broca's area. When neurons in those areas become less efficient due to aging, inflammation, or even reduced blood flow from undiagnosed high blood pressure, you begin to experience hesitation, substitution, or silence. This symptom often goes unaddressed because many seniors compensate by withdrawing socially or letting others finish their sentences. What can you do if you notice frequent pauses while speaking, trouble naming familiar objects or people, or frustration when trying to express yourself? It's time to pay attention. You can start by keeping a language of time, appointments, or familiar routines. Now, missing a dentist appointment once in a while isn't alarming. But when it becomes a pattern like forgetting what day it is, mixing up times for regular events, or struggling to follow a familiar recipe, this may signal deeper cognitive changes. This particular sign is often linked to dysfunction in the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, the brain areas responsible for time awareness, spatial reasoning, and executive function. Let me tell you about Marie, a 69-year-old grandmother from Atlanta. Her daughter became concerned when Marie kept showing up to church on the wrong day. She also forgot her weekly bridge game, something she had never missed in over 10 years. Marie even began leaving food on the stove because she'd lost track of time. These weren't just small mistakes. They were disruptions to her long-standing patterns, and they hinted at changes in her brain's ability to manage time and sequence. According to Dr. Ronald Peterson, director of the Mayo Clinic Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, difficulty with routine tasks or time orientation is a classic early symptom of mild cognitive impairment, MCI, or early Alzheimer's. He notes that the brain's mental calendar and to-do list manager start to malfunction well before full-blown memory loss sets in. What's going on in the brain? The hippocampus is like your brain's internal GPS and timekeeper. When it starts to shrink due to aging or oxidative stress, your sense of when things happen gets distorted. You may feel like yesterday's event happened weeks ago, or vice versa. Combined with disruptions in the prefrontal cortex, this makes organizing and completing everyday routines much harder. Red flags to look for: forgetting the day or time repeatedly, struggling to follow steps in a familiar task, like making coffee, missing regular events or confusing their schedule, trouble managing bills or medications in the right order. What should you do? Create structure with calendars, digital reminders, and routine logs. But most importantly, don't hide or dismiss these changes. If you or a loved one begins to feel disoriented more than once a week, it's time to talk with a doctor. Catching this early gives you a chance to slow the progression with lifestyle changes like exercise, sleep improvement, social connection, and proper nutrition, which we'll explore more in future videos. Coming up next is the fourth hidden sign of early brain decline. One that many confuse with aging eyesight, but it actually starts in the brain. It's easy to assume vision issues are all about the eyes, maybe cataracts, glaucoma, or just aging lenses. But here's what many don't realize. Some vision problems actually start in the brain. Yes, your eyes may be fine, but your brain's ability to process what your eyes see can begin to decline, especially in the early stages of cognitive impairment. This is called visual spatial disorientation, and it affects how your brain interprets depth, distance, contrast, and the relationship between objects in space. It can cause you to misjudge steps or curbs, struggle to park your car straight, knock over a glass even though it looked farther away, or get lost in a familiar grocery store. Let me introduce Frank, a 74-year-old from Arizona who prided himself on his independence. One afternoon, he got turned around while trying to exit his local Walmart, somewhere he'd shopped weekly for 15 years. He also began bumping into furniture at home and said, "The room feels weird lately." His optometrist confirmed his vision was 20/25, but his neurologist later diagnosed him with early-stage posterior cortical atrophy, a rare form of Alzheimer's that affects the visual processing center in the brain. What's happening neurologically? Your occipital lobe, located at the back of your brain, is your visual processor. It interprets light signals from your retina and turns them into meaningful images. But when cognitive decline begins, especially in posterior regions, your brain struggles to read what your eyes are seeing. It's like the camera is working fine, but the computer screen is glitching. This is more common than most realize, and often confused with simple eye trouble. Signs to watch for: difficulty reading, letters seem to shift or blur, trouble recognizing faces or places, misjudging distances while walking or driving, getting disoriented in familiar environments. What should you do? If you or someone you care about starts complaining that their glasses aren't helping or that the world feels off, but their eye exams are normal, don't stop there. Ask for a neurological evaluation. These symptoms could point to early Alzheimer's or other brain-based conditions like Lewy body dementia. Simple changes like increasing contrast in your home, better lighting, and vision therapy exercises may help. But the most powerful step is recognizing the problem and getting the right support. Next, we're diving into the fifth and most critical hidden sign, one that even doctors sometimes miss, but could indicate urgent brain decline. One of the most concerning yet often ignored signs of early brain decline is a disrupted sleep pattern, especially if it comes with nighttime confusion or wandering. You might notice waking up multiple times at night without reason, feeling restless or agitated in the evening, getting your days and nights mixed up, or experiencing episodes of confusion after sunset, a phenomenon known as sundowning. These aren't just signs of insomnia, they could be your brain signaling deeper neurological changes. Let's take the story of Clara, a 76-year-old widow living in suburban Florida. Clara had always been sharp and organized, but recently, her son found her awake at 2:30 a.m., dressed and ready to go to the bank, thinking it was morning. She'd also started napping more during the day and seemed disoriented in the evenings. A visit to her primary care doctor initially suggested normal aging, but after a sleep study and neurological assessment, Clara was diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's. With her circadian rhythm, her internal clock no longer functioning properly. What's the science behind this? Your brain houses a special group of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, in the hypothalamus. This area controls your circadian rhythm, or natural 24-hour clock. In the early stages of dementia, this part of the brain may become damaged, leading to disruptions in melatonin production, light sensitivity, and brainwave cycles that regulate sleep. What's more, your prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, responsible for decision-making and memory, become less efficient at night, meaning you're more prone to confusion or agitation in the late hours. In fact, according to the Alzheimer's Association, up to 20% of people with cognitive decline experience sundowning, even in very early stages. Warning signs to watch for: difficulty falling or staying asleep, being wide awake during the night and sleepy all day, increased irritability or confusion after sunset, waking up not knowing where you are or what time it is. What can help? If you notice any of these signs, it's crucial to establish a strict sleep routine, consistent bed and wake times, limit caffeine, alcohol, and screen time in the evening, use light therapy in the morning to reset the body's clock, and seek medical evaluation to rule out early cognitive decline. Most importantly, don't brush these off as just poor sleep. When nighttime confusion appears, especially suddenly or repeatedly, your brain may be struggling to organize time and space, an early symptom that's vital to catch. Let's now bring it all together in our final section: what to remember and what steps to take to protect your brain moving forward. Today, we've uncovered 5 hidden signs of early brain decline that you and your loved ones should never ignore. 1. Changes in emotional responses. 2. Frequent word-finding difficulties. 3. Losing track of time and routine tasks. 4. Vision problems that aren't related to the eyes. 5. Disrupted sleep patterns and nighttime confusion. Recognizing these subtle signals early gives you a powerful advantage. As Dr. Maria Carrillo, Chief Science Officer at the Alzheimer's Association, often reminds us, early detection is key, because it opens the door to interventions that can slow decline, improve quality of life, and preserve independence longer. Whether it's scheduling a cognitive screening with your doctor, adjusting lifestyle habits, or simply staying informed. Your brain health is within your control more than you might think. Remember Helen from Michigan, John from Ohio, Marie from Atlanta, Frank from Arizona, and Clara from Florida. Each started by noticing these small signs and acting on them. Today, many are thriving with better support, treatments, and renewed hope. If you notice any of these signs in yourself or someone you care about, don't wait or dismiss them as just aging. Reach out to a healthcare professional for an assessment. Taking action now can help preserve your cognitive vitality and protect the memories, relationships, and independence you cherish. Thank you for watching this important video. If you found this content helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Seniors Vitality Hub for more expert guidance on thriving as you age. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our new videos filled with real, doctor-backed wellness advice just for seniors like you. And tell us in the comments, have you or a loved one experienced any of these signs? What steps are you taking to support brain health? Your story might inspire others. Stay sharp, stay vibrant, and remember your best brain health is still ahead.